Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, our series follows our MC, Noor, a hard-working man seen helping out Auntie Stella with manual labor in the morning. Immediately heading off to a day job, carrying heavy luggage all throughout a construction site, only to get praised for his athletic feats throughout the day. Having heard a cry in a nearby cave, Noor immediately rushes into the cave, shocked to see a group of people fighting against a massive-looking monster. Flashing back 15 years, in the northwest kingdom of Clays, we see a young Noor starting a fire and preparing some medicine, checking on his mother, who thanks Noor for taking care of her. Suddenly remembering that he needs to retrieve the goats on the hill, Noor promises to not cross beyond the rocks, knowing that his mother is worried he may not return. Noor says he'll hunt a rabbit and acquire several nuts and seeds to make them soup for dinner, suddenly running off to fetch some water, seeing his mother coughing profusely. Quickly stopping Noor's mother apologizes for causing Noor so much trouble, asking that Noor live the life he always wanted. As Noor fulfills his task for the day, he begins prepping the soup for their dinner, but upon delivering the meal to his mother, Noor is mortified to learn that his mother had passed away during the night. With a proper burial the next day, Noor sheds some tears, stealing his resolve, as he continues to hunt, feed his livestock, clean his house and read. As time goes by, Noor is seen doing his everyday tasks over and over, always ending the day alone at the dinner table, but one night whilst Noor is cleaning up a bookshelf, he accidentally stumbles onto a fancy-looking book. Upon reading its contents, Noor is reminded of when his younger self had asked his father what an adventurer is, amazed to hear his father recount tales of adventurers slaying a massive dragon, learning all sorts of powerful magic, destroying curses and even obtaining an elixir that cures all illnesses. Hearing that an adventurer is someone that vanquishes all evil, Noor is reminded of his mother's final words, asking Noor to live the life he always wanted. Figuring out what he must do, Noor gives livestock plenty of food for a while, visiting his parents' graves, and declaring that he had decided to become an adventurer. Leaving his hometown for the first time, Noor decides to cross over the rocks his mother warned him against doing, unable to sleep out of fear on his first night, but successfully makes it to a new town. Passing by the town guards, Noor is instantly blown away by the thriving city, excited by what is to come. Arriving at the Adventurers Guild, Noor is unfortunately told to go away by a mean-looking guildmaster, reminding Noor that his parents probably don't want their child enrolling into something so dangerous. With a serious demeanor, Noor reveals that his parents have passed away, catching the attention of the guildmaster who feels sorry for Noor. The guildmaster states that in order for Noor to register as an adventurer with the Royal Capital's Adventurer Guild, Noor must first attend Royal Training School where Noor will acquire a class in various skills. Fired up to wield a sword and learn magic, Noor immediately enrolls into school watching as a fellow classmate's sword suddenly ignites with fire. Focused on the future, Noor continues to train for several months. Noor is the sole student that hasn't acquired a special class, pulled aside to have a quick chat with his instructor. The instructor reveals that Noor has only learned how to parry attacks, advised to give up on becoming an adventurer since Noor has no aptitude for adventuring. Having not given up, Noor trains to become a warrior, someone that acts as a shield for their party, but even after several months of training, his instructor sadly advises Noor to give up trying to be a warrior. When trying out for a hunter, Noor is scolded for being too rough with a bow. When training for a spy, Noor learns that he is incapable of dismantling traps and can't sense anyone's presence. Moving on to a magician, Noor's instructor is shocked to see how weak Noor's magic capabilities are, even turned away by his cleric instructor, having no aptitude for light magic. After 3 months, Noor regretfully informs the guildmaster that he has yet to acquire a skill, forcing the guildmaster to refuse Noor from being an adventurer, fearing that Noor would simply hurt himself. With his head hung low, Noor slowly trudges back to his hometown, visiting his parents' burials to inform them of his failures, but Noor still refuses to give up. Crafting a wooden sword, Noor remembers that his sword instructor had told him to repeatedly practice a skill until he masters it, forced to repeat his parry skill day and night. With a single year of practicing the parry skill, Noor succeeds in parrying 10 swords at once, cutting to 3 years later when Noor has mastered the ability to parry 100 swords at once, but sadly no new skills. Knowing that he'll never become an adventurer at the rate he's growing, Noor continues to drill the parry skill, cutting to 10 years later where a single swing of Noor's blade is capable of sending shockwaves throughout the nearby forest, revealing that Noor has the ability to parry 1,000 swords at once. With no new skills under his belt, Noor bids his parents goodbye, heading back to the Adventurers Guild to try once more, revealing to the receptionist that he has the ability to parry, the ability to enhance his body along with several other weak skills. When the receptionist advises Noor to undergo training to find a class, Noor sadly admits that he has already tried all the possible training schools out there, suddenly running into the guild master. Amazed to see that Noor has grown so much, reminding Noor that adventurers range from S rank all the way to E rank and that Noor still technically can become an adventurer. Excited, Noor learns of the F rank adventures, people that are forbidden from taking on quests that involve slaying and gathering and are only allowed to take on tasks within the city. The guildmaster advises Noor against stooping so low, but having made up his mind, Noor gladly accepts the title of F rank, if it means that he can be an adventurer. Physically enhancing his body, Noor gets to work, making use of feather steps to catch a stray cat and low-tier healing to patch up any wounds. Making sure to train in the afternoons, Noor enjoys the hot springs at night, only to return to helping people throughout town during the day, taking time to impress some kids with his stone-throwing technique. At night, Noor states how grateful he is to be able to help people, wondering if there is any way he can obtain a higher rank. Having been caught up to date, Noor is seen rushing into a nearby cave, shocked to see a monster that he's only read about in books. As the monster begins approaching some knights, the knights declare that they must protect the binded girl at all cost, giving their lives to stall the monster. With Noor confirming that the men are all slowly dying, Noor helplessly watches as the knights attempt to fight for their lives, but having seen enough, Noor grabs one of the knights' swords, hurling several stones at the monster to lead the creature away from the tied-up girl. Knowing what he must do, Noor begins to run away, suddenly turning only to parry the monster's horns, pushing the creature aside temporarily. Now forced to parry the monster strikes, Noor's blade begins to wear down, racking his brain for any way to win, but Noor knows he has no offensive abilities. Suddenly spotting the monster aggro onto the girl due to some interference, Noor decides to bet his life on the next attacks, sacrificing his blade to parry a lethal slash from the creature. With his shattered blade, Noor remembers the words from his father, choosing to meet the creature's axe head-on, parrying the axe and decapitating the creature with its own axe. Exhausted by the fight, Noor admits that he still has a lot to learn, suddenly hearing the girl thank him for saving her. Noor finds it sad that so many men had passed during the battle, swiftly heading off when the girl asks for his name, but it's revealed that the girl's name is Lady Lindbergh. As Noor heads through town, Noor reflects on how powerful the cow monster was, even though it wasn't a demon, but this gives Noor more reason to become stronger. Back at the cave, we see Lindbergh praying for the souls that gave their lives to protect her, but just then Ines arrives apologizing for not staying by Lindbergh's side. Lindbergh reassures Ines that she personally chose to not be escorted to the trials for the throne, suddenly interrupted by Lord Darkin, who reports that Lord Rain would like to speak with the two. Following Lord Darkin, Darkin wonders how a demon minotaur from the lower levels of the dungeons would have appeared on the surface, learning from Rain that there was a merchant amongst the pack that summoned and controlled said demon with a ring. Having consulted the Okayan the mage, Okayan had concluded that the ring was of quite high purity, something Darkin knows most nobles wouldn't normally be able to easily obtain a ring that summons an A-ranked demon. Rain reveals that Okayan had found markings on the ring that belonged to the magic empire of VIDZ, something Darkin had already assumed was the case, shaming the empire of VIDZ for attempting to assassinate Lindbergh and start a war. Darkin knows that VIDZ is after the mysterious dungeon of the lost in their empire, which houses many relics. Changing topics, Darkin reads over the description regarding the man that saved Lindbergh, amazed that man slayed the creature with a simple sword and disappeared before the kingdom's trackers could find him. The next morning, Noor returns to the guildmaster, who is surprised to see Noor is okay, worried that Noor ran into the demon at the construction site. Noor apologizes for the confusion, having headed straight home realizing some strange people were following him, but this relieves the guildmaster as he reveals that he was originally an A rank himself and even he wouldn't face the creature. Hearing this, Noor is relieved that he ran into a weaker demon, happy to receive his pay for yesterday's work. The guildmaster reminds Noor that he could earn 30% more with a normal job, but just then, Lindbergh appears, having finally located Noor with her detection skill. Noor wonders if Lindbergh is of the thief class, but Lindbergh reveals that she is primarily a mage with knowledge of the 6 skill classes at a basic level, impressing Noor. With everyone but Noor recognizing Lindbergh, they all begin wondering if Noor was the man that slayed the A-ranked demon, prompting Lindbergh to suggest they move somewhere else private. Advised by the guildmaster to follow Lindbergh, Noor and Lindbergh begin heading through town with Lindbergh's soundproofing and concealment magic, easily evading the city's guards only to stop in a secluded area. Apologizing for dragging Noor away, Lindbergh sincerely thanks Noor for saving her, asking if Noor would like anything in return, but Noor simply says her thanks was enough. Shocked, Lindbergh asks that Noor meet with her father and be rewarded for saving her life, But when Noor says he really doesn't need anything extraordinary, Lindbergh begins to cry. Lindbergh states that she refuses to move until Noor meets her father, something that reminds Noor of his younger self, ultimately agreeing to accompany Lindbergh as long as she doesn't make it a big deal. Excited, Lindbergh layers several skills to avoid detection, heading towards her mansion, which surprises Noor. Easily making it past the guards, the two introduce themselves, with Noor promising to call Lindbergh Clays, Lin moving forward. Walking through the spacious halls, Noor wonders what type of noble Lin is to afford such a location, suddenly running into Ines, who tells Lin that her father is having a meeting with Rain. Amazed to see a woman in armor, Noor wonders if Ines is a maid, but suddenly spots Ines glaring at him. As Ines escorts Noor and Lin, they run into Gilbert, a man wielding a spear. Immediately Gilbert demands to know who Noor is, sensing nothing special from him, but Ines asks Gilbert to not be so rude, and instead help escort Lin and Noor just in case. Cutting to the king, he gets annoyed learning that VIDZ was behind the attack on the princess, reminded of the time when VIDZ attempted to trade access to the king's dungeon in exchange of their military power. But when the king had refused, VIDZ swore that the king would regret such an action, suddenly spotting Lin entering his throne room, happy to see his daughter alive. As Noor marches beside Lin, Darkin suddenly calls out his sister for using the hermit's cloak to leave the mansion again, but Lin says she needed to thank the man that saved her, intriguing the king. Noor apologizes for not dressing up, but the king reassures Noor that he simply has to be himself, shaking Noor's hand, but before Noor can leave the king asks what Noor would like as a reward. Noor reassures the king that he doesn't need anything, surprising the king as he offers Noor an abundant amount of money, land or even half of the sacred items that the kingdom has found in their dungeon. Even still, Noor refuses to accept anything, wondering if there is any way he can leave without agitating everyone. Thinking for a moment, the king heads towards his throne, picking up a black amalgamated blade, offering the blade to Noor. When Darkin advises his father against such a gift, the king simply states that it's been collecting dust, but when Noor grips the blade, he realizes how heavy the weapon is. Noor asks if the weapon is too pricey for him to accept, but the king reassures Noor that it was a simple item he picked up during his adventures, asking for Noor to give the blade a swing. Happy to hear the sword wasn't too valuable, Noor physically enhances his body with some magic, swinging the blade with a single arm, terrifying everyone at the shockwave Noor's slash gave off. Amused to see Noor handle such a heavy blade with a single arm, the king asks that Noor help train Lin, but Noor sadly refuses, revealing that he doesn't have much to teach Lin. Satisfied with Noor's response, the king allows Noor to leave, cutting to Noor admiring the blade, especially since he can use it as a shovel to help remove clogs from Auntie Stella's drains. Just then, Ines appears, apologizing for acting so rude towards Noor, stating that she was simply acting cautious in protecting Lin. Apologizing for the late introduction, Ines Harness introduces herself as the vice captain of the Clays family warrior corps, but Ines had also obtained the title of Divine Shield. Ines mentions that since Noor saved Lin, Ines will do whatever she can to repay Noor's heroic feat, but seeing as he doesn't need anything at the moment, Noor says he'll tell Ines if he ever needs anything. Ines also takes the chance to warn Noor to never act casual with the king or the Clays family again, demanding that Noor learn the proper etiquette the next time he shows his face. Shocked by Ines's serious demeanor, Noor promises to be careful next time, pleasing Ines as she asks for Noor's name, shocked upon hearing Noor's name, swiftly leaving. Finally alone, Noor attempts to leave once more, but is stopped by Gilbert, who demands to test out Noor's capabilities. Escorted by Gilbert to one of the training halls, Gilbert mentions how Noor and himself will be having a mock battle, revealing that Gilbert himself is quite well known in the royal capital. With Gilbert choosing a wooden spear, Noor opts for a wooden sword, both facing off against each other, all whilst Noor states that he'll learn as much as he can from a real fighter like Gilbert. With the onlookers cheering on Captain Gilbert, Gilbert initiates the duel, thrusting his spear at Noor, but Noor nonchalantly dodges. Impressed, Gilbert begins speeding up, incorporating slashes and thrust into his movements, but once again Noor easily reads and dodges all of Gilbert's strikes. Noor notes how Gilbert's strikes are refined and polished, but finds it strange how Gilbert is moving quite slow, believing that Gilbert is purposely holding back. Pausing the match, Noor asks Gilbert to show his true potential, surprising Gilbert as he also believes he was holding back, apologizing as Gilbert grips his staff, further increasing his speed. Even still, Noor moves to evade Gilbert's advances, wondering why Gilbert is leaving himself wide open, believing it to be a trap. Seeing so many openings, Noor continues to dodge and observe Gilbert's movements, but Gilbert gets pissed, activating a swift skill forcing Noor to leap into the air. Seeing an opening, Gilbert aims for Noor's head, but Noor simply leans back, evading Gilbert's lethal blow. Wondering if Gilbert is still holding back, Noor once again asks Gilbert to go all out, believing that he may actually be stronger than Gilbert, but out of nowhere Gilbert unleashes his Dragrave thrust. In a blink of an eye, Noor disappears, having read and evaded the destructive blow. Apologizing for taunting Gilbert, Noor accepts the defeat, but Gilbert is completely baffled to see a mere human evade his blows. As Noor heads home from the intense duel, Gilbert's men all begin discussing how powerful Gilbert was, believing the wind from Gilbert's spear forced Noor to concede, but Gilbert knows otherwise. Gilbert reveals that he was born with a knack for wielding the spear, flawlessly defeating all of his enemies with a spear and ultimately motivating Gilbert to further refine his skills. One day, Gilbert was confronted by the elder of the village he was staying at, apologizing for not giving Gilbert a worthy opponent, as Gilbert has already defeated everyone in the royal capital and is now on the hunt for anyone that can match his strength. The elder reveals that there has been news of the capital calling for foreign reinforcements, suggesting Gilbert visit the capital once more as there may be more talent for Gilbert to challenge. Intrigued, Gilbert joined the royal forces, slaying demons along with easily climbing the ranks. Having no human nor creature able to defeat Gilbert, Gilbert is seen resting, interrupted by his instructor who teases Gilbert for acquiring the title of Spear Sovereign, a title Gilbert finds cheesy. The instructor reminds Gilbert that he himself has the title of Sword Sovereign, reminding Gilbert of Ines who is quite powerful with the sword, but Gilbert knows that in a duel he would still win. Gilbert asks the instructor how boring it is to be constantly training weak soldiers and adventurers, but the instructor reminds Gilbert that it takes a team to win a war and that one day there will be someone that will surpass not only the instructor but Gilbert himself. In the present, Gilbert wonders who Noor is, having heard that Noor slayed the Minotaur, but didn't accept any lavish rewards from the king. Gilbert knows that Noor doesn't have any unique skills like himself, but even still Gilbert wasn't able to land a single strike on Noor, even after using his ultimate skill. Gilbert thinks back on the duel with Noor, confused as to why Noor admitted defeat, even after evading Gilbert's ultimate skill. Having been humiliated by Noor, Gilbert demands to know where Noor is heading, but Noor diffuses the situation by promising to meet again in the future. Once Noor had left, Gilbert realizes that there are massive cracks in the floor where Noor was standing, excited at the fact that he can finally go all out having found someone that can give him a challenge. Following Noor reveals that he had to physically enhance his body along with using feather steps to evade Gilbert's ultimate technique, thankful to Gilbert as he still believes Gilbert was holding back. The next day, Noor is back to cleaning gutters, amazed that the sword is perfectly fitted for clearing the gutters and is still in good condition. Although Noor is grateful to be able to clear so many gutters, Noor is still disappointed that the sudden appearance of the Minotaur caused his construction job to close down. Staring at his blade, Noor wonders if he can use it to find other F-rank suited jobs, disappointed that his fire skill only ignites a small flame and is at the lowest level. Out of nowhere Lin appears, surprising Noor as he wonders how she found him, learning that Lin asks the guildmaster where Noor was, but Noor deduces that Lin had found him with her tracking skill. Getting straight to the point, Lin asks to be Noor's page, somewhat like an assistant, hoping to follow Noor around and learn from Noor. With Noor immediately refusing, Lin wonders why since she is more than capable of any tasks, having obtained the highest marks from all 6 training schools. Noor simply says that he doesn't need help with any of the jobs he's doing, prompting Lin to offer to recruit Noor as an instructor, but when Noor once again refuses, Lin begins to cry. With no other option, Lin shows off her skills, casting ice spell only to destroy the ice with a high-level fire spell. Next up, Lin unsheaths her dagger, instantly cutting up a tree, revealing that she had learned such a technique from the Shadow Sovereign instructor crew. Finally, Lin takes out the handle of a blade, igniting the blade as she incinerates a tree beside Noor, bragging about the sacred class skill, but Noor asks Lin to stop. Noor confirms that Lin is leagues above himself, telling Lin that he is inferior to her, but hearing Lin reveal that she has been recognized by 6 sovereigns, Noor chooses to show off his weak fire ability. Dejected and heading back home, Lin remembers the stories of a boy with no talent, hearing that the boy attended all 6 training courses staying the full 3 months even though the boy obtained no outstanding talents. Lin realizes this boy was Noor, remembering a time when instructor Okayan had shown Lin a familiar tiny flame spell. Although Okayan says that the tiny flame spell is useless for any application, the tiny flame spell can actually be used to gauge how much someone has trained in general. Creating her own tiny flame, Lin admits that their flame always remained small, but today she saw how grand Noor's tiny flame was, speechless as she knows Noor has trained and worked so hard. Remembering how heroic Noor was when facing off against the Minotaur, along with how hospitable Noor is for constantly helping out the citizens of the capital, reasoning that she must learn from Noor, especially since in the future Lin will be ruling alongside her brother. Later that night, Lin meets up with Noor once again, revealing that she'll follow and learn from Noor starting from today, but Noor can't help but be weirded out. Cutting to Darkin, he's seen wondering why his father would give Noor the prestigious Black Blade, revealing that the king in fact had to travel deep into the dungeon accompanied by the Sovereign Six in order to acquire such a relic. Upon further inspection, the material of the blade is unknown, being tougher than mithril, orichalcum and monometal. Even with various physical and magical attacks against the blade, the sword would not break, being deemed the unbreakable blade, but the question is of course who carved and led the engravings on the blade. Thinking for a little longer, Darkin reasons that his father most likely knows there is something happening in the country, hoping that Noor could be the man to help fight against this unknown force. At the same time, Noor and Lin are seen ordering some food at a stand, surprising Noor as he fears Lin shouldn't be so out in the open. Lin reassures Noor that she is currently performing her duties as an adventurer and is under Noor's tutelage, happy to follow Noor wherever he goes, but as the two sit down for a meal, Noor believes that once Lin finds out what jobs he does on the daily, Lin will probably lose respect for him. Heading to the guildmaster gets weirded out, spotting Lin accompanying Noor, asking what happened that led to this. Seeing Noor hesitate to answer, the guildmaster apologizes for snooping, heading to retrieve a quest for both Noor and Lin to complete. Since Lin is a silver B rank, the guildmaster states that they both can handle a goblin hunting quest, surprising Noor as he only knows goblins as terrifying creatures he's heard from stories. Noor gets worried that they may have trouble with such a hard quest, but the guildmaster reveals that Lin can normally take on silver tier quests on her own and technically Noor would be the only liability. Hearing this, Noor is grateful to be given such an opportunity, but feels bad for taking advantage of Lin's rank, especially since he's wanted nothing but to ask her to leave him alone. Seeing as Lin is none the wiser, Noor asks if Lin is okay with being used to obtain a higher level quest, but Lin is completely alright, prompting Noor to retrieve his blade. As the guildmaster informs the two of their job location, the guildmaster warns the two to still be careful, even though the quest is a low-level threat. Taking out a map, Lin recognizes their location as the Forest of Beasts, but the guildmaster also reminds the two to bring back the right ear of the hunted goblins as proof of a slain goblin. Suddenly remembering that there have been a report of fewer goblins roaming around, the guildmaster advises the two to pick some herbs, that way they don't return empty-handed. Just like that, the two head outside the castle, heading into the Forest of Beasts where there are hundreds of different tree species. Seeing as it's the perfect time, Noor asks to know more about goblins, learning that the goblins normally target smaller animals but have a tendency to eat fruits as well. Recently the goblins have resorted to attacking humans, and if the goblins are left alone, they begin to multiply rapidly and may cause issues for villages nearby. Lin does mention that adventurers only trim down the population of goblins, leaving a few as to not disrupt the natural flow of the ecosystem. Lin also points out various fauna that can only be found in the Forest of Beasts, and that the forest is quite commonly used as training grounds for beginner adventures. Hearing all of this, Noor is completely amazed that Lin knows so much, but as they head into a mist-covered region of the forest, Lin uses a search spell for some goblins. Sadly, they still haven't located a single goblin, but Lin notes how there is a monster-like presence up ahead. With no other choice, they head deeper in the forest where the trees begin to block out the sunlight, a location goblins thrive in, but suddenly Lin loses track of the monster she was tracking. Noor wonders if the monster had suddenly passed away, but as the two head to the last known location, they are shocked to see no signs of monsters anywhere. Suddenly sensing something, Lin swiftly casts a uncover spell, shattering a stealth spell, only to reveal a massive goblin devouring one of its kind. With Lin completely terrified, Noor believes that the goblin they are facing is a standard goblin every adventurer would face, ordering Lin to suppress her fears and fight alongside him. It's revealed that Lin froze out of fear, realizing that the goblin in front of them wasn't any normal species but was in fact a goblin emperor, a subspecies of the goblin king, and was most likely created with forbidden knowledge by humans. With the goblin emperor rushing our duo with two tree trunks, Noor is forced to block the strikes with his blade, parrying the emperor's strikes to learn its attack pattern. Seeing the goblin thrust one of the tree trunks at him, Noor refuses to allow the emperor to corner him, once again parrying the blow to put space between them. Calling for Lin to help out, Lin conjures several wind slashes and ice projectiles, but the goblin emperor nonchalantly defends and evades the spells. Taking a stance, the goblin emperor tosses a tree at Lin, forcing Noor to step in front and parry, but as the goblin begins barraging Lin with more trees, Noor is forced to defensively parry each and every one. With the Goblin Emperor pausing for a bit, Lin wonders how the Emperor hasn't sustained any damage, suddenly realizing that the mana stone on the Goblin's forehead must be a source of its power. Before Noor can make a move, the Emperor suddenly tosses 3 trees into the air, followed by a single one directly at Noor, surprising Noor as the Goblin has realized Noor needs time between each parry to focus. Luckily, Lin unleashes a devastating wind blast, blowing back all the tree projectiles, only to confirm that the mana stone is indeed helping the Goblin Emperor regenerate. Knowing that they won't be able to reach or outlast the monster, Noor asks for Lin to aim a wind blast at his back, scaring Lin as her wind magic can demolish castle walls. Noor reassures Lin that he'll be using the sword to absorb the blow, ordering Lin to quickly cast the spell, suddenly being flung towards the Emperor. Quickly physically enhancing his body along with casting Feather Step and Heal, Noor leaps into the air, carving past the Goblin's weapon only to knock out the mana stone from the Goblin's forehead. Seeing as the Goblin is writhing in pain, Noor is relieved to see Lin secure the mana stone, but Noor asks for Lin to finish the Goblin off humanely. Gladly accepting, Lin casts a Hell Flame spell, instantly incinerating and putting the Goblin to rest, all whilst Noor promises to get stronger. That evening, Darkin receives a report from some cloaked figures of the Goblin Emperor equipped with the massive Mana Stone, a creature that would be even tougher than a regular Goblin King. When Darkin suspects the magical empire for causing such a thing, the hooded figures reveal that the Mana Stone could be a demon's heart from the holy theocracy of Mithra. Darkin is relieved to hear that Lin survived such an ordeal, but is confused as to how such a powerful monster entered their land without being detected. But seeing as this may not be the only case, Darkin asks for further investigation into strange occurrences around town. Having headed back to the guildmaster is happy to hear that Noor and Lin managed to complete the quest, accusing Noor of hiding behind Lin as she did all the work. Although Noor believes that they were hunting a normal goblin, the guildmaster gets worried hearing that the goblin may have been an unusual since it was carrying a mana stone. But when the guildmaster asks for the goblin's ear as proof, Noor and Lin realize they don't have proof since they burnt the goblin's body. Back with Darkins, he reads through the report of strange sightings, learning that mysterious sounds can be heard at night, animals have been acting strange and people have been disappearing. Looking at the various locations of these strange occurrences, Darkins suddenly realizes something, ordering the hooded men to dispatch any members who can use the skill search and uncover, but to also summon the Sovereign Six. With the hooded figures swiftly heading off, Darkins wonders why the magical empire would try such a thing, pissed that their enemies are willing to destroy their kingdom if it means they gain access to the dungeon. Having been awarded by the guildmaster for his first hunt, Noor and Lin head for some skewers, both relishing in the food after a hard day's work. Noor does wonder how long Lin will be with him, but before he can ask, Lin mentions how she needs to head home since it's getting late. Out of nowhere, Darkins appears, asking Noor to visit a city in the mountain district with Lin, apologizing since he can't explain why just yet. Seeing as Noor is quite surprised, Darkins promises to prepare and pay for anything Noor needs on the trip, something Noor can't refuse. Having taken the request through the guild, the two head out first thing the next day, exciting Noor as he had never ridden a carriage before. Taking in the gorgeous scenery, Noor dreams for the day when he can visit other countries, hoping to become a full-fledged adventurer that can travel wherever they want whenever they want. Lin takes the chance to apologize for the sudden request from her brother, but Noor reassures it's fine since he's still getting paid. Flashing back, Darkins had instructed Noor to head northwest of the capital via carriage, heading to the mountain district of Toros where Darkins instructed the two to sit and wait. If nothing out of the ordinary occurs, Darkin asks Noor to then head to the neighboring land, the holy theocracy of Mithra. Lin knows that something is strange with Darkin's request, but Ines reassures Lin that she is here to help as well. Flashing back, we see Ines having a private conversation with Darkins, learning that Darkins suspects that their home will surely be destroyed in the near future. As a result, Ines has been ordered to take Noor and Lin to safety in the holy city of Mithra. Darkins asks that Ines keep this conversation a secret, fearing that Lin would want to remain in the capital. In the present, the gang stops to feed the horses, but at the same time Ines apologizes for having Noor's caught up in everything. Noor gets confused, still believing that they're on a simple trip to another kingdom, but Ines says that she can't tell Noor the reason why she's been stressed lately. Hearing that Ines plans to protect Noor's and Lin on the trip, Noor reassures Ines that they can always run if they get into trouble, but gets surprised hearing that Ines has a powerful shield on her, even though Noor doesn't see a shield nearby. Choosing to unveil her skill, Ines conjures a barrier, asking that Noor make use of her barrier that blocks both physical and magical attacks, impressing Noor. Noor mentions how he learned Gilbert is a skilled spearman, even managing to take on a dragon by himself, and that Ines was just as capable. Hearing Noor's compliment about her unique skill, Ines had remembered the time when she first learnt of her mysterious skill, accidentally cutting her friend in the orphanage. Having been brought before several instructors, Ines showed off her new skill, impressing the instructors as her skill can be shaped into anything Ines wants. Ines was then trained with Sovereign Shield Dandalg, learning how to manipulate and use her skill properly, but as Ines grew stronger, she naturally grew distant from everyone, fearing that she would hurt them. It's revealed that Ines was surprised when she heard Noor's name, having heard that name before. During one of her hunts, Ines got distracted and had forced Dandalg to step in and protect her. Ines had grown to know as her foster father and instructor, believing that she was his most prized possession, but Ines had overheard Dandalg muttering that he had wished Noor was still around. Ever since then, Ines has despised the man Dandalg calls Noor, shocked to hear that Dandalg would respect the man named Noor and not her. As Ines drives the carriage, she wonders if the Noor traveling with them has known the Noor she yearns to meet, holding back any signs of malice and anger as she needs to fulfill her duty as Lin's knight. Just then, Noor spots a strange path being carved in the nearby wheat farm, prompting Linz to cast her Uncover spell, revealing a terrifying monster. At the same time, the king and Darkin get a report that their kingdom has begun to fall, with various monsters appearing around the capital. Seeing as there is no choice, Darkin sets the protection and evacuation of their citizens as their #1 priority, but this all pisses the king off, knowing that Doritas won't allow this first attack to be the end. The king asks for updates on the Sovereign Six, satisfied to hear that the Sovereigns have all been dispatched to separate locations to fight and protect, but Darkin does worry about how Lin is doing. Back with Noor, we see a mysterious boy marching alongside the monster, only to have his concealment barrier be shattered by Lin. Out of nowhere, the monster strikes the boy down, a monster Ines recognizes as the Black Death Dragon. With no time to spare, Noor retrieves his blade, dashing to the boy's side only to parry the monster's slashes before they can harm the boy. Off to the side, Ines points out how the boy and the monster were both being hidden away by the concealment spell, meaning the boy must be a demon folk. Flashing back, Darkins tells Lin that demon folk are people that appear human-like, but they have special abilities that allow them to speak with monsters. These demi-humans are considered more monster than human, as there are records of demon folks invading the holy theocracy of Mithra 200 years ago, and ever since the humans have hunted the demon folk to extinction. Sadly, some offspring still remain, and this means that the remaining demon folks will have a deep hatred for the humans. In the present, Ines declares that the boy most likely was manipulating the dragon, but when his barrier was shattered, he lost control of his dragon. Pissed that Noor would assist a demon folk, Ines orders Linz to not intervene, but at the same time Noor is easily able to defend the dragon's slashes, believing that Lin and Ines will surely arrive to help. Spotting the dragon charging up a projectile, Noor notes how he can't evade the projectile as the boy will be hurt, therefore he chooses to parry and slash the projectile, but is shocked to suddenly be poisoned. Ines states that poison from the dragon is the reason the dragon is deemed the Black Death Dragon, as anything the poison touches will die. Seeing Lin trying to help, Ines immediately erects her barriers to stop Lin, stating that Lin must escape whilst she holds back the toxins from the dragon. Knowing that even the Saint Sovereign will have trouble with such potent toxins, Ines chooses to create a barrier and stand her ground, all whilst Lin attempts to purify their surrounding air. With no luck, Ines apologizes to Noor, sad that she wasn't able to help Noor in his last moments, but suddenly something hits Ines's barrier. With the toxins cleared, we see Noor still standing and protecting the boy, all whilst Ines realizes that Noor is the true embodiment of what it means to be a shield, having put his life on the line to protect the boy. At the same time, the toxins slowly weaken and confuse Noor between each parry, ultimately forcing Noor to collapse, all whilst the monster looms over Noor. Check out one of our other videos on the screen or in the info card above. Subscribe, like and comment.